And welcome to the Michael Zehr Show. Today's date is Friday, September 15th, 2023, and we're streaming to you from the Rising Eagle Studios here at the Warrior Healing Center in Sierra Vista, Arizona. I want to give you a real quick reminder. Don't forget, today is the fun Food Truck Friday, is what we like to call it. Food Truck Friday, happening out at Gunny's Barbecue and Event Center at 5043 South Highway 92. And I know a lot of people go there and support it, good turnout for it, and they're already setting up for it. So I hope that you'll be able to go out there and support that great business. It's Gunny's Barbecue out there on Highway 92. So having said that, today my special guest veteran is Elijah House. Elijah, thank you so much for taking time out and coming in and joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Mike.
My pleasure. What I had told the guest last week that another veteran I was going to be interviewing, and he had to back out because he had a family emergency. So my prayers go out to the family, and hopefully we got him rescheduled for 2 or 3 weeks down the ride. So when you called and said that you could do the interview, man, it was perfect. It was great timing. So I thank you for that.
Hey, no worries, anytime.
All right. So what was it that inspired you to join the military, and what branch did you join?
So I ended up joining the U.S. Army, and I've been in for about 11 years, and mostly I joined because like the camaraderie. It was like I was on my way out, and growing up, my mom was always like, don't get a job, figure out the market of a job of where you want to be. That's not going to replace you. So the military had a lot of opportunities for experience and training, and so that's honestly what led me. Is either aviation or cybersecurity, and I knew one of those two is where I wanted to be.
So that would have been my next question: is what MOS did you choose?
I ended up choosing 15 Papa.
Which was?
It's flight operations, aviation operations.
And what was that like? What was some of your duties?
It was actually very enjoyable. It was very hard work in the sense, honestly, we dispatched aircraft. We were pretty much like the S1. We were the HR for the aviation, honestly. And
you didn't work like in the flight control.
No.
Okay.
Not air traffic control, not at all.
Okay.
But, very similar. We were like the ground aspect of air traffic control.
Okay. All right. So, how you said that you served for 11 years in in the Army.
Yes.
That's quite a good chunk of your time, huh?
Yeah.
And did you keep that MOS the entire time?
The whole time. The whole time.
Was it marketable for you when you got out of the military?
It actually helped me because currently I'm pursuing my student pilot license, and so that aviation experience helped me achieve my drone license, the Part 107, and now I'm going for my Part 61 pilot license.
So you want to be a drone pilot then?
Yeah.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. We got a few veteran-owned businesses here in Sierra Vista that have drone things that are really they do really good video work and picture work and stuff like that. Is that what you're looking at doing?
Yeah.
Is it?
Runs in the family, photography and film. Yeah.
Cool. So, how many different duty stations were you at?
Ooh, actually stationed there or actually visited? Okay, so I've been, I believe, 4 or 5. I did 3 National Guard and then 8 years of active duty.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite duty station?
I have to say Korea. By far, Korea, definitely.
What made it your favorite?
It's the culture, the people. Like, one of the biggest things I love about the military is how when you get somewhere, they want to support you, and you're in a new country, you're around people that are foreign to you, and they want you to embrace the culture. They want you to understand why you're there, and just have a fun experience while being safe. So that's one of the biggest reasons I enjoy Korea.
You're not the first person that has said that about Korea. When they go over there, they get immersed in the culture.
Yes.
Some people enjoyed it so much that they went to some of their schools there. Other people, the food, the difference in food and everything. So what was your favorite meal? What did you when you went over there?
So we call it pork belly, samgyeopsal, and Korean barbecue. If you find it in your nearest city, at least they might have one. But samgyeopsal is by far mouth-watering. It's one of the best
Oh,
things to
wow.
eat. Yeah.
And in Korea, how long were you there for?
I was there for about a year. Yeah,
For a year?
about a year, close to.
And what was some of your like daily activities when you were there, other than, you would go in and do your
Right.
job in the military, but what was it like after when you got off duty?
So after work, I roller skate. So I ended up going to different roller skating rinks in Korea, and they're really good, by the way. And
Are they?
would try to teach, and I would try to teach the kids how to roller skate the American way, or like we do in the roll bounce or ATL, and they really enjoy that kind of style.
Uh-huh.
And other than that, I'm going to travel different foods, traveling around, trying different foods everywhere. I volunteer for the BOSS program so I can help other soldiers learn how to get around Korea. I've been studying Korean for 3 years, and I want them to get that experience for, hey, what is this place? And, not to be so shy about experiencing new things.
Right. Can you speak Korean pretty good?
Conversationally, just for like small talk, yes.
Yeah? All right. Cool. So you said that, again, that you served 11 years in the military. So of those 11 years, what was the positive experience that you took away from serving in the Army?
I've got to say, meeting new people who, when you meet them, they want to support you. Like having that trust that they want to support you. That honestly is what kept me in. It was every duty station. It wasn't everybody just out for themselves. You would find that small few that's like, they learn your situation, they learn your habits and who you are as a person. And they're like, how can I support you to be a better person? This is what you went through, great. But how can I guide you to be in a better place and get you back on your feet, or get you to a point where you're like, you know what? I'm doing well now. How can I help someone else because someone helped me when I was in need? So that's honestly what kept me.
I forgot. I wanted to ask you something really quick when you mentioned that roller skating. I had a flashback to my days when I used to love to watch roller derby. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, you look awfully young, so I wasn't sure if you knew what that was. Then you could be teaching them over there how to do roller derby as well.
There was a roller derby's club in Alaska, and they ended up trying to teach me how to referee for it, and it was difficult because it was definitely not my element. But it was a different world, definitely a different world.
Oh yeah, I used to love to watch that. It was so cool. So looking back again on your military service, what positive? Oh no, I asked you that. No. What advice is it that you would give to other people that are considering on joining the military? That's what I wanted to ask you.
If you're considering to join the military, I would say, be open-minded, be very open-minded, especially with the way the Army is going now, and learn to be humble. Listen to the advice of the older people who has been in, when they say, try to get ahead, take advantage, do things early. I know a lot of people, including myself, we like to procrastinate, but it's quit. The only reason you aren't where you need to be is because you held yourself back by justifying excuses. So quit making excuses for yourself and be realistic about your situation, and then just chase what you want to do. So if you want to do the military and you want to join, find other like-minded people who can help get you where you need to be, because we always need somebody to help support us along the way.
Wow, that's a great answer. Really good. And I've always kind of wondered about today's military, because what years did you serve from?
I served from November of 2012 till August of 23.
Okay. So can you give us a little bit of an idea what like today's Army is like versus like what somebody that might have served 30, 40 years ago?
Okay, so way back when, the military was a lot harsher in a sense.
Right.
They were very adamant, you got to do things this way. And the military now, from what I've seen, was, even when I joined in 2012, it went from you can smoke somebody to now you have to drop with them and do push-ups, and you can't let them do it by themselves, which I kind of like that camaraderie. The other thing that they're really going to is, I think they call it NCO 2020, which is where basically you're catering to the feelings of the individual you're speaking with. And so the military now is focusing on how they feel and justifying how they feel. And it's different. It's really hard to explain that one, but they really want you to make sure that you're taking care of your battle buddies, but make sure that they're safe and okay. So the way they're doing these new forms and everything else is, it feels micromanaged, but truthfully, it's looking out for the health and welfare of the soldier. There's just a lot more questions we have to answer. There's a lot more that you need to know personally about your soldier to take care of them, because we have more requirements nowadays. It's very difficult. I would, like they say, sensitive. It's not like we used to be back in the day.
Yeah, because they used to, be able to get in your face, and I mean, they couldn't physically touch you, but they could still, break you down to build you back up. So, do I understand what you're saying then? Is that, like, for example, in basic training, if a drill sergeant were to tell you drop and give me 20, he would also have to do 20 as well?
I don't know from the drill sergeant's perspective, but I know from the unit perspective, that's exactly what we had to do.
Oh, so the whole unit then?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
No. Like, so if you were in charge of me and you told me to drop and do 20, you would have to do 20 with me as well.
So it would be the person giving the command, pretty much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how it is. And I've seen that a few times when I was in Korea, and it's then my supervisor, he had us all do it. Everyone in the shop do it, because it was like the mass punishment kind of thing. And I know nowadays you have to have a filter. You can't cuss at soldiers.
Right.
You have to, even yelling or even raising your voice to a certain pitch, you have to watch that too, because I mistakenly did that one time, and then my soldier, she started tearing up and like on the verge of crying. But here's what I didn't understand: she had an abusive past, and which is, this is where you have to like learn to know your soldier. And then eventually, I went back to her, I apologized, and she opened up, and she was like, I went through this growing up, so if you please not yell at me or not raise your voice. So I had to find a different way to connect with her. And that's why the military is changing, because back in my days, in 2012, 2013, we could do that, and hey, tough skin, you're fine, just keep it pushing. But I think that really disregards the mental health that we face. It's just ignoring mental health when truly it's a big factor. And I think that's something that military is trying to address, is understanding mental health is a real thing.
Wow. And that also asks me, like, for example, when you were talking about taking out profanity, so they don't do that in cadence anymore as well, do they?
I don't believe we do it in cadence anymore. They even stopped several cadences that were even allowed to like say. Definitely, like, the R word, which we aren't allowed to say that, and there's just several different cadences we're no longer allowed to say. And if you do say cadences that are not allowed, they can report you.
Do you find that the military, today's military, is being more, since it seems like they're embracing more and trying to be more diverse, that they're also doing the same thing for women soldiers as well?
Yeah, I'd say, the whole equality there. The whole equality is there. I've served starting in basic training with women, and then all the way up. So I've been around women in the military the whole time, and I didn't see them treated any differently than I was treated.
Wow.
And they're you're being treated the same, you're being treated the same, and you're being treated the same. There was no favoritism, there was no specialty. It was, can you get this job done? And if you can't, who can you go find to help you get this done? Because you need to fix this, you need to get this mission done. So you have a task, and how are you going to accomplish it?
So I had asked you earlier about what your favorite duty station was, and you said that was Korea.
Yes.
Looking back at all the different friendships that you've made while in the military, was there any particular place that you were stationed that you met a particular friend, and you guys just like really became, like you were saying, like battle buddies?
Oh, most definitely. Kansas, Fort Riley, Kansas.
Fort
One
Riley?
of the places that I really dreaded going to, because I've heard nothing but horror stories. And I'm not saying that it wasn't far out from what I heard, but there's a learning lesson everywhere. And when I went there, I found family. I truly found family. You know how, like, for me, I've always felt left out. I've always felt like I wasn't going to be finding my clique. Every time I see someone, they're always hanging out with someone. They're always buddy-buddy. I never really had that. But until I went to Kansas, there were several people in the 1st Infantry Division, the aviation unit I was there with, 1st Cab. And they just honestly made me feel like home, and I think it was partially a race issue too.
Really?
It was.
See, I thought
yeah.
that because I've talked to quite a few veterans that served in the 50s and 60s that definitely suffered huge racism back in that day. And I thought that today it was supposed to be getting a whole lot better, but it's still.
It was weird. Like we had this one first sergeant, and she ended up favoring, her own skin color over us, and then we had like the lower minority. It was several blacks. It was a few, like 2 or 3 Hispanics, and there was one more, and then basically like an African and whatnot. And so we definitely felt ostracized from the unit somewhat, and like. How can you give somebody an award like, hey, we're only allocating one award for like a Germany rotation event? I don't understand that. Like, that was my biggest pet peeve. We are all working our butts off, but you're giving us
as a team.
Yeah, as a team, and then you just say, hey, pick one of you guys for an award. And I'm like, I'm not about participation trophies, but I've seen the hard work that we put in. At least more than one should be allocated for an award. I just honestly, it was a hard time in Fort Riley, but you know what? I learned a lot. There was a lot of learning lessons there.
Right.
And we made it through, but I promise you, if we didn't have each other, it would have been really, really tough.
And have you kept in touch with them, or was it, who was it again?
Oh, so there's a Staff Sergeant Butler, there was Sergeant Jonas, Sergeant Caceres.
Oh, okay. So a few people.
Yeah, and Stewart.
And do you keep in touch with them even today?
Even today.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that networking, especially aviation is a small world.
Okay.
So when you go from one unit to another, you are going to see somebody from the same unit. Stewart, he's currently in the unit with someone that was in our previous unit as well.
Right.
And stuff. And Jonas and Caceres, they ended up getting stationed in Campbell in Kentucky, and now they went along their own path.
So what was it like when you transitioned from the military into civilian life? Was that pretty hard, pretty easy? What was your experience?
I think it felt easy because I had things planned. The last part of my military career was honor guard, and that was like the final check block for me. So I ended up having a lot of time after we finished the funerals. I ended up having time to take care of my personal life and actually get ready for transition. I've got my appointments down way ahead of time, like a year out. And so when it came to time to transition, it was all about, okay, where are you going to live? How much money do you have? What is your budget plan? And what are you going to do? Are you going to go to school? Are you going to go look for work? So I don't think my transition was as hectic. I would say the financial plan is honestly right now the hectic part, because August 30th, I ended up getting out, and I was told I'd be getting paid my last check 5 days after. But I still haven't got paid my last check. And they told me that they owed me money as well, some back pay. So then I called DFAS, and they were like, we have to audit your account. We do this for every service member. So they aren't going to pay you until 30 or 40 days after they finish the audit. So just for anybody who's about to transition out the military, don't forget to plan for that 30 or 40 day lapse just in case for the auditing.
Wow, that's some good advice. Good. I also wanted you to be able to give a shout out to your wife. And you said you had a son?
Yes, I do have a son.
So go ahead and give them a shout out.
Say, hey, how's it going, Stephanie Shitaro? I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting me. And thank you, Vanessa House, for supporting me through the whole time and being there with me through the whole military. And Levi, I love you a ton. And one day you're going to see this and be like, hi, Dad, and what did you do? So thank you for being there. I don't know, he's honestly been the best thing helping me get through the military he's 7 years old and he's full of curiosity. So.
Yeah. Don't you love it? Being able to look through their eyes and wonder how they're seeing things. Yeah. So tell me, how did you meet your wife?
So I ended up meeting her, when I was in the National Guard, and we ended up 2014. I was at UPS, and I told her, one of my battle buddies, she was a supervisor, and I was like, hey, Battle, you're in the Army. that's your that's who you're in charge over at UPS. You're supervising her. I was like, hey, what's her name? And so then after that, I was like, hey, got her number. Ended up saying, hey, teasing her for a little bit, just throwing UPS boxes on the conveyor belt. And eventually, I was like, hey, I have this event. We have a Christmas event every year in the National Guard where we like support families and, like here's Secret Santa and stuff like that. And I was like, I have this Christmas event going on. You either show up or you don't. And she ended up showing up. And
awesome.
So then we ended up getting married in 2016 after I went active duty. And then we've been together ever since. We've had our harsh downfalls, and so we are getting divorced, but we are happy about it. And
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I get that you're happy about it, but it's just it always saddens me when that happens to hear that when that happens with a couple.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of we're very level-headed. We understand that
sounds like it.
Being together was harder than it is being apart. We are better at co-parenting than we are at parenting. And I found a lot of it was because, especially after deployment, I ended up taking some of those stressors, some of those expectations I had of, hey, get this done. And I started bringing work home. And a lot of that really felt the marriage due to that because I couldn't separate it because I came back from deployment. And it was hard. And so eventually we ended up just staying married and was like, you know what? Once I get out the military, we'll go ahead and file for divorce. And then I ended up coming to Arizona and I met Stephanie. And so we're together. And my current wife, she's familiar with her. She knows her. We talk. My brother.
And she and your wife that you're getting divorced, she has custody of your son? Do you get to see him?
Yeah, so I get to see him, and
good.
I've seen him for the holidays and New Year's, and I've seen him recently this past summer, and so I try to see him, and I'm gonna pay for a ticket so then they could come here, or it just depends because we have different days that she gets to get off.
What I love about your story that you're telling me is the fact that it sounds to me like your son is just so very important in your life that you and your soon-to-be ex-wife can put whatever animosities because you want to do what's best interest of your son in raising him, and I just admire that.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
My biggest thing is I see all the situations that other people are going through, so why do I need to put myself through that kind of hassle of, oh, I got a bad baby mama, or she's this, that, and the other? No, we don't want that kind of stress. How can I help you? And she's looking at how can she help me? And I've been through a lot in the past since 2020. And she's fully supported me through this. She fully supports this divorce, and she knows Stephanie. She everybody knows each other. We're all good with each other. It's why put yourself through stress that you don't have to necessarily go through.
Gotcha.
So
I love that attitude. It's so positive. You don't run into people that have that kind of positive of thinking where they are able to set that stuff aside. And I really admire that. So. How did you end up here in Cochise County?
So I actually had a ALC course, and so after I finished my ALC, and then I went eventually to Fort Huachuca. I was assigned there. I finished my military career, and I just kept going to the PX, and that's where I met Stephanie.
Okay.
And I had the option of going back home or staying here, and so I ended up wanting to stay here to further my relationship, as well as there's better opportunities for jobs here, in my opinion.
Right.
And so that's why I wanted to stay here too. And plus the weather.
And are you working now?
No. So currently I'm about to start school for CDL at the ACS Trucking Institute.
Oh.
And I'll be doing that for 3 months.
So you got to do over-the-road driving?
Yeah.
My son did that for quite a while, and then got in with Coca-Cola, and now up in Tucson and a supervisor. So that's just kind of an idea to let you know the route that you could take. You can, you start off there, but you can move up. Other companies see that you're doing a good job, and then, wow, I want this person working for me, and then, right? So
yeah. And CDL is a great branch off. I'm always looking at how to expand, and so. Eventually, I want to own my own plane. I want to, finish my private pilot license and have that kind of funding. And it's an expensive hobby. And so CDL is definitely a good way to fund it. And driving military trucks, if you're in right now, look at what you want to do when you get out and start planning on milestones to hit while you're in the military, looking for that free experience while you're in the military. Because once you get out, it's a lot harder to get that funding, I would say. Especially when it comes to like cyber, definitely you're going to get that kind of funding. They need that everywhere. But the Army Cool program and everything else that's specific while you're in the military, take advantage.
Yeah, we do have a lot of IT around our area here. They don't call it Fort We Got You for a reason. You know that, right? So we got you, and you ain't going nowhere. So what is it about? What is your favorite thing about living here in Cochise County?
Definitely the weather. I mean, definitely the weather. I enjoy the small like community. So you talk to one person, they know like half the town already.
Right.
Like that's like honestly, I'm really big on networking, and like my girlfriend, her mom, and her father, they know practically everybody. There's not someone that they don't know. And so if you need some help or resources, someone knows somebody here.
And it's a small world. You can even go out of town and still run into somebody from Sierra Vista. It's happened.
I went to Tucson and I did my DOT physical for the CDL school. And the nurse there, she was like, or the practitioner there, she was like, yeah, did you go to Buena High School? And I was like, no. And so, yeah, she's all the way in Tucson talking about Sierra Vista.
Right.
And Tucson's a bigger place, huge population compared to here. So.
Oh, do you do any kind of volunteer work or community activities of any sort? Or do you what are some of your hobbies?
So I ended up, I do work at the Warrior Healing Center. I did start volunteering there a few days ago. And then I just joined the VFW yesterday, and I'm going Sunday to do the volunteer for, they're doing breakfast, I guess making breakfast or preparing it. And so eventually I want to start out with Warrior Healing Center, VFW, and just keep expanding. My biggest thing is giving back to veterans. I've been there, done that. I've been through a lot, and I see the signs of, depression, anxiety, and even some emotions that I've had along the way. And I want to help others get through it. And this is definitely one of the best places to be.
What is it that you want to do here at the Warrior Healing Center?
I want to provide service, like whatever it is. I mean, I've worked in the library when I was a civilian in the National Guard as well.
Right.
And so right now I'm just, ordering the books, just getting them all associated, getting new books, looking for things that are going to help veterans. And other than that, I do want to get into like the photography side, provide a service for drones. If somebody wants to tell their story, how can I cater that to what can we provide or what can I bring to the table? I want to figure out what can I do for them. Whatever services that's going to make them feel happy, because one day someone have made me feel happy like once a time ago. Well,
I can tell you we are always looking for volunteers here at the Warrior Healing Center, and we are so happy to have you helping out here, and I can't wait to see what you end up doing and how your future looks from here.
Most definitely.
And I would love for you to come back sometime, and come back on air. We could talk a little bit about what it was like maybe going on the road for truck driving school or something like that, and you could share some of those experiences as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I look forward to it.
So do you have any last words of inspiration that you'd like to shout out or give?
Biggest thing, I just filed my first VA claim, and now I have to wait word. But like they say, go get checked. Go get checked. If it hurts, if it doesn't hurt, if you think need to go get checked, go get checked. The biggest part of taking care of yourself is no matter if they say you have a mission, no. We can't have this mission if it wasn't for me being there. So go get checked, make sure you're fine, and get it documented. Mental health is a real thing. Please go get checked. Talk to your battle buddies. Check up on them. I had a few people next day just unalive themselves and didn't know why, didn't know what happened. I talked to him while he was on his 24-hour shift the day before. You couldn't even tell. I couldn't tell.
Right.
So talk to your battle buddies. Mental health is a real thing. And the last thing is resiliency. Honestly, you're always going to bounce back. You're going to hit rock bottom, but you made it this far. So why can't you keep going? Find your roots. find that purpose, that drive that got you to where you are, and keep pushing. Success is a process. You keep going up, or failure is a process. You don't just get to failure the next day. It was a process. What led you there? How can you turn yourself around? Support the people alongside you to keep going up, or you're going to fall straight to the bottom. You fall as far as the people you support.
And you said that you did get your VA claim filed as well, right?
Yes, and that's the word.
I tell you, it's so hard to get veterans to step up and file for benefits that they're due. They don't want to bother the VA, or they don't want to. There's so many different reasons why they're not, and I highly encourage them. And I didn't know this. I just found this out recently. The VFW does claims as well.
Wow.
I don't know who helped you with your claim, but
I went to the Disabled American Veterans.
DAV?
Yeah, DAV. Yeah. One of the, going to the VA from yourself, pretty much like you representing yourself to the VA. Me personally, I don't think that's a good look as to compare to you getting represented by an agency who works with the VA. You're working with the agency who has protocols, who has rules, who has an infrastructure and establishment. They understand the paperwork necessary. It's veterans who have been there that want to give back, that establish this community. So why not utilize them? Why do things on your own when you have an agency specifically for helping you? So go ahead and check DAV out, VFW.
Yep.
But don't.
I believe the American Legion has a service officer as well here in Sierra Vista. So don't be sitting on it. Get up and get that claim filed if you feel that you're. Because another thing too is people don't go on sick call when you're in the military, so they feel, well, there's no way I can prove it.
Save your sick call slips. I save my sick call slips. I save my Red Cross. I save my profiles. Get your profile signed by your commander. No matter the hassle, hey, I need this signed. This is what I'm trying to claim later. I need this signed.
You should become a service officer. All right, Elijah, thank you so much for coming in this morning and sitting down with me. I really appreciate it very much.
Having me. I appreciate it.
And again, I find that your story is very inspirational and very positive and powerful. And I just thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your service, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you for your service as well. And God bless you. And God bless everybody. And I will see you next Friday. I'm not going to be here, so it will be in 2 weeks is when I'll have my next show. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you. Oh, one last thing, real quick. I forgot to mention, Bagel and Brew is next Thursday. It starts at 0900. It goes to 1100 hours, and they put out all kinds of food. They put out, of course, coffee, not beer. It's a very good event. The Cooks Club puts on a really good spread. And starting in December, they're going to be doing soups every Friday, the Cooks Club is. So that's another thing to look forward to. So don't forget also to go out and support Gunny's Food Truck Friday, also out on Highway 92 as well. That's it, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you. Bye-bye.